Okay, so let's talk about oversharing. Really, oversharing. As simple as it sounds, oversharing is just sharing too much information about your personal life or the personal life of other people. And this is where it gets interesting. There's an abbreviation called TMI, which means too much information, which means, hello, spare us the details, we don't want to hear more, like, I beg, rest. Now, the amusing part about this is, I found out that someone who overshares is called an oversharer. Like, really? That's slick, you know? And it just makes sense that we know where to draw the boundaries. When should you draw the line? When are you oversharing? When is it called oversharing? People have defense that oversharing is relative, blah, blah, blah. Yes, which is true. But the fact is, it is called oversharing because there is an over in the oversharing, which makes it over. It is not over until it's over. You feel my line? You feel my line? Okay, let's just go right into it. Now, the first thing is, how do you know you're oversharing? To be honest, number one is when you think there's no personal or public life, you think my life is my life. You're probably oversharing already. There's actually a private life and there's a public life, which means not everything happening with you, around you, or on you, or in you is meant for public consumption. The second thing is when you actually feel like you share too much when you are stressed. Whenever you're stressed, you just want to like let it out. Like, you just want to be, people say the word, I want to be light-hearted. I want to be light-weighted. Like, you're probably oversharing. Now, research has actually shown that people that overshare tend to have mental health issues or anxiety or depression or childhood trauma. So one way they try to like cope, which is like a coping mechanism to their trauma or their mental health issue, is oversharing. Because they try to create a facade up there that they have a happy life when they don't really have one. Which means people can fake it sometimes. And that's why they overshare sometimes. But do I mean that everybody that posts happy stuff about themselves or their personal life is lying or faking it? No. Not everybody that posts their personal life is lying. And that's where oversharing comes in. Sharing in itself is not bad, but oversharing is bad. Which means if every time something thrilling and amusing is happening in your life, the first thing you think about is a camera, set a ring light or a tripod, and you want to keep talking, you want to show the whole world whatever is happening with you every time, you're oversharing. The third thing is, if after you talk sometimes you regret whatever you said, you probably overshare. So you want to look out for these characteristics and make sure that you're not guilty. Because oversharing is very subtle. There's a thin line between sharing and oversharing, and the thin line is just being over. Another way you know you're oversharing is when you tell people what they don't need to know. Need in quotes. We don't need everything. Like, you don't need to tell us what the F is happening with you. You get what I'm saying? It's not everything that happens around you or with you that we need to know about. So tell people only what they need to know. Emphasis on need to know. Now, let's say you find yourself oversharing already and you want to get out of that web of oversharing. What can you do? How can you set boundaries? One of the major boundaries is the question of why. Why are you sharing what you're sharing? Why are you telling us this? Why do we need it? Why? Now, you need to find a tangible reason for why you're doing what you're doing. How do you answer that question without bias? It leads me to my second point. Define yourself. Give yourself a definition. If you do not stand for something, you would fall for anything. So goes the popular saying, which is really true. Which means if you're not identified with something, you're probably going to be identified with every other thing. You need to know who you really are. Are you someone in ministry who needs to talk about their past every time because you need to help others who are caught up in that web? Then you are not oversharing. Are you someone who is in relationship field? Maybe you're a counselor or a mental health therapist or a relationship therapist or a relationship minister. If you need to do that, then you need to also show us about your home or your marriage or your relationship, that it's really true, it's really real to have a happy family. Which means at that point, you're not oversharing. But of course, there are still intricacies, which means it's not everything going on in your marriage that we still need to know on social media. It's over once it's over. Remember, overshare. Now, the third point is there is actually something called digital boundaries. I'm gonna say this because people think you can just wake up in the morning and post whatever you like about someone else. Digital boundaries, like it sounds, means how much of ourselves we want to be revealed on social media. The world is connected. Like, it does not mean I want everything about me to be out there. I have a personal life. I have a private life that I probably don't want my Instagram followers to see. Which means that the fact that you meet someone on the street who is your former classmate does not mean the picture you took with them has to be on Instagram. What if they don't want anyone to know they're in town? The fact that I used to be your student and you took a picture with me because I'm now maybe blown up or whatever does not mean when you post that picture you have to post me with it, or you have to tag me and say you saw so and so somewhere. Like, digital boundaries, bro. Guess what? It gets more interesting to know that digital boundaries creep into relationship. You need to know your digital boundaries, and you need to know your partner's digital boundaries. Don't assume anyone's digital boundaries for them. Because it's your partner does not mean he wants to wake up to a picture of him kissing and caressing you. Because she's your wife doesn't mean she wants to wake up to a picture of herself on panties or on bra, like whatever. You have to ask them, hey darling, hey sweetheart, hey friend, hey buddy, hey colleague, are you okay with me posting your picture of this on Instagram, on Twitter, on whatever platform? Ask people. The sweet thing about digital boundaries is it evolves as the relationship grows. Which means when you're dating someone, they might not be comfortable 100% of you posting a picture where they are holding hands with you. But when you're married, they will definitely be comfortable. And I'm not trying to talk about legalizing secrecy, like hiding things from a partner or not wanting anyone to see that you're married. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people that have clean minds, okay? Don't say you don't want to ever post your partner because of digital boundaries, please. You get access to, because there's undersharing too. I'm joking, but you get my point. Now, I mean that ask people what they're comfortable with. I saw a video trending some time ago of a girl posting her boyfriend washing her panties on TikTok. And I heard later that the guy broke up with her and she was pissed. Like, why would you break up with me because I posted what you did? He did it, but does it have to be up there? He has a personal life. So, digital boundaries, respect it. Once you respect digital boundaries, it's going to help you and prevent you from oversharing for you, even yourself and even other people. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about is follow your heart. Some people call it intuition, some people call it instinct, some people call it conscience. I call it the Holy Spirit because it's the Holy Spirit in me that leads, direct, and guide me on whatever I do. There are times that I want to reply someone or I want to post a picture or I want to do something and the Holy Spirit is like, don't. And I stop it immediately. Which means if you ever want to post a picture or you want to post a video or something on Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, and you feel in your heart that you should stop it or you should not post it, don't. Please. Thank you. Because sometimes you regret doing that action. Sometimes you regret it. Sometimes. Now, the other thing I'm going to talk about is ask yourself, in the next 10 years, will I regret that I posted this? Will it be hard for me to take this down in the next 10 years, knowing that it's not part of what I want to be up there about my life in the next 10 years? I know we don't know everything about ourselves, but the fact remains that every one of us, we are all building a portfolio of some sorts, whether you're in career, you're in business, entrepreneurship, ministry, schooling, whatever thing you're doing. Our life is like a puzzle bird. So every single thing you do on social media, every single social interaction you make, every single post you put up there is like a puzzle letter that forms a puzzle word that fits into a puzzle bird. So if in the next 10 years you don't see yourself being proud of that thing you want to post, don't post it. And this is why I talked about defining yourself earlier on. If you know that in the next 10 years you're going to be a business mogul or you're going to be a serial entrepreneur, you know that you definitely don't need to post about the fact that you stole money from someone when you were 10. We don't need that information. Because people might not trust you when they know that you have stealing tendencies. So, when you define yourself, it's going to help you and restrain you from oversharing online. But there's really something called oversharing. In defining yourself too, you're going to understand that if you're a musician or an artist who does not have any business with showing us about your wife, we don't need to see it. And I'm not saying don't ever push your partner, and oversharing means you are constantly overdoing it. Show us your wife. Let us know you have a great family, you have someone who loves you, you love someone. That's good. But the moment it gets to the point that every single time, oh my God, my wife just got me this, my husband just got me this, my wife is doing this, we don't want to know it because you are not an influencer or a content creator. There are really couples that are content creators. That's different. Like, both of them know, even though sometimes they lie, prank. So every time you keep pranking us, your partners know that you're pranking us, and they see themselves on YouTube the next day and it brings money and deals, influencing deals, and the next day again they still say, oh, I'm surprised, it's a prank. We know that some of those things are not really pranks, but you try to make it seem like it's a prank, and that's not my problem. You're earning money from it, you have your satisfaction in it, you have your reasons for doing that, it's fine. But I'm saying when it crosses the boundary of what we need to know, don't post it. I'm going to leave you with this quote that I coined together today. And the post is, enjoy the company of your loved ones and yourself better than you enjoy the comments of strangers. Remember, these guys are strangers. Whoever you meet on social media is a stranger unless you turn them into a friend. So all the accolades they're giving you, all the sweet talks they're giving you, they are still strangers. Because if the worst comes to the worst, the people you're going to see that would have your back are still family, friends, and loved ones. So don't ruin your life for strangers or people that do not care about you. And if you sense that you have mental health issues, or you always want to show the world you're happy even when sometimes you're not, you need to seek help, professional help. Talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor, talk to someone who's going to help you. Please do. And you can come to my DM. Alright, see you in the next one. I have an article written about this. If you prefer reading it or you still want to read it, then you're going to click the link on the description of this video and it'll take you right there. Follow me on social media. Follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Iamidesinesis, and do have a great time. Bye.